to thank our organizing partner, the Kadazandusun Language Foundation, for giving us the guidance and support throughout the entire duration of this program, from its planning to the execution and finally to today's event. I'd like to especially thank and extend my most sincere gratitude and appreciation towards Madam Rita Lasimbang, the CEO of KLF, for her most dedicated support and guidance throughout this competition. I call her Auntie Rita. That being said, I'd like to also extend my appreciation towards all the judges of the competition, which was headed by Madam Rita herself, and together with her were Madam Bernadette Inadun and Madam Rohanida Anand. On that note, I'd really like to commend our judges. For your information, we were working on a really tight schedule after the deadline of the competition had passed. We had 24 entries to review in the short span of 2 days. But as Auntie Rita herself said, anything is possible with a cup of coffee. So we managed to come up with the results of the competition in time to announce in conjunction with the International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples, which was held last 9th August. So a big round of applause for our judges for their tireless effort. I'd also like to thank the members of KLF and the KOMULAKAN movement for the successful planning and execution of the competition of today's event. Not forgetting the teachers and parents for their support towards the students in writing and submitting their entries. Last but not least, I'd like to thank all the students for taking the initiative to write your essays and short stories. I've had the opportunity to read some of the essays submitted, and I'd just like to say that I'm very proud and impressed with the quality of the writing that you presented. And I can say on behalf of all of us here that we are very glad to see how young people such as yourselves are capable of writing in your native language. For everyone's information, this is the first edition of the essay and story writing competition organized by the KOMULAKAN movement in collaboration with the kadazandusun Language Foundation. I'd just like to share some statistics regarding the competition. We had 24 entries from all over Sabah, with representatives from Penampang, Tuaran, Sandakan, and Ranau, with the most number of entries coming from Penampang. Out of the 24 participants, 20 were female. So yes, women empowerment. Congrats to all the girls.
Expected.
24 submissions for 1 month. I can personally say is an achievement, considering this is the first time ever that this competition was held, and also given the current circumstances involving the global pandemic. I'd like to share with everyone here today the backstory as to why we decided to organize this competition. We realized that there are a lot of opportunities out there for students to write essays and short stories in English and Malay, but there weren't many options available for them to showcase their writing in their native language. As a youth movement, we wanted to provide a platform for these young people to showcase their talent in writing using their mother tongue. Another reason we had the program was to promote the use of native languages on a reading and writing level. Because as we all know that the Kadazan and Dusun languages are largely spoken languages and are rarely used in academic or formal settings. So we want to challenge the status quo to ensure that our native language continues to stay relevant with the tide of time. I know how challenging and intimidating it can be to write in a language that you are not that you rarely write in. I admit, I myself am not as fluent in Kadazan as much as I'd like to be. The same goes for many of my peers. But it's okay, we can still learn, and that's the important thing, the willingness to learn. And I applaud all the students here for having the courage to try and do something new. But what can we do to help students like yourselves to improve writing in Kadazan or Dusun? I remember that I used to refer to the Dewan Siswa when I was studying for my SPM Bahasa Melayu, mencari gaya penulisan, mencari peribahasa. It really helped me a lot, you know. Bukan sahaja dari segi bahasa, tetapi juga dari segi penulisan dan dari segi pemikiran. So why not? Why not we do something similar for the kadazandusun languages? We can start to publish educational magazines in kadazandusun to help students with studying the language, give them example essays, and give them writing tips. With this, hopefully, more students can feel confident in taking SPM kadazandusun as a subject in school. Maybe we can also invite students to send in their work as well, to showcase their writing as well. Macam saya dulu, saya rajin hantar esei kepada Dewan Siswa dan dapat juga lah sedikit wang untuk menulis. Tapi, yalah, publish itu in Dewan Siswa. So why not we do something similar for kadazandusun? Give them a platform to write, give them a platform to read, how to write sentences correctly, how to write and spell correctly. Yeah. I really hope we can do this in the future. I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce everyone here today what the KOMULAKAN movement is all about. I'm sure some of you are very curious as to who we are and what we do. We are a relatively new organization which was started this year by myself and my friend Natalia Jawa-2020, who is unfortunately not able to come here today due to having prior commitments in Kuala Lumpur. In short, KOMULAKAN is a youth-led movement to empower indigenous communities in Sabah, largely focusing on youth, education, and social entrepreneurship. And when I say youth-led, I really mean youth-led. The directors, myself and Natalia, are both 19 this year. And the ages of our current members range from 17 to 26. Our role is simply to try to showcase, document and promote the culture of indigenous groups within Sabah. It's unfortunate but true that the young people here today are not well versed about their own culture and traditions. And so some of the things that we do include researching and writing articles on topics that relate to our culture, to the culture of indigenous peoples. For example, we recently wrote and published an article on the significance of the Harvest Festival, or Kaamatan, and the rituals that are practiced during this event. We've also published an article on the Gadang, the origins of the beauty pageant, its significance today, and how we continue to celebrate it in memory of Huminodo's sacrifice. After we write these articles, we translate them into Malay and Kadazan and produce simple and attractive infographics and post them on our social media pages for anyone who would want to read them. For anyone who would want to read more about our culture and traditions. We also try to promote the use of our native language. For example, we post the Kadazan word of the day on our social media pages and teach the public new vocabulary and how to use certain words in certain sentences. As of today, KOMULAKAN has around 2,000 followers spread across all our social media platforms, and we have reached over 10,000 people. We are able to do this all thanks to my lovely team and volunteers at KOMULAKAN. My researchers, writers, translators, graphic designers, photographers, publicists, all play a huge role in ensuring KOMULAKAN runs smoothly. And some of them are here today. Please give them and yourselves a round of applause. Aside from the cultural part of our movement, we also run educational programs for young students. A few weeks ago, we had an online webinar on the academic opportunities available for students after SPM. We had around 100 participants who logged in from all over Sabah to learn more about the educational opportunities available for them post-secondary school. KOMULAKAN also runs a mentorship program for young people who want to try out and apply for scholarships that are available to students in Malaysia. And so far, we have succeeded in securing scholarships to study overseas for our student mentees from Shell Malaysia, PNB, and Tenaga Nasional Berhad. So these are just some of the things that we do at KOMULAKAN, and I hope to run even more programs in the future. Just the other day, I was invited by the US Embassy of Kuala Lumpur to discuss the issues faced by indigenous peoples, especially the young. I relayed to them some of my concerns, including how the global pandemic disproportionately affects indigenous students. I think we all heard about the news of Viviana, who had to climb a tree to answer her exams. We were equally concerned by this and have since connected with other youth NGOs in West Malaysia, including Nation Building School and Higher Education Malaysia Association, who are really looking forward to extending their programs here in Sabah. I've also been trusted by the US Embassy to promote and extend our invitation to Form 3 students to apply for a 6-month cultural exchange program in the United States on a full scholarship next year. If you are in Form 3 this year, you can apply for this program, and the deadline is somewhere in September, at the end of September. Students will be staying with American families somewhere in the United States and learn more about their culture while also sharing about our own. So I hope that many young Sabahans here take the opportunity to apply for this program and share more about our culture to the rest of the world. I also like to extend the wishes of the Federal Youth and Sports Ministry. As you all may know, youth empowerment is a very much trending movement right now, not only on the local level, but also on the national and international level. I'd like to call upon all the young people here to step up and take up the challenge set by the Youth Ministry to make this decade as our decade. So whatever it is, whether it be education or representing your culture, I want you to take charge and show to the rest of the world that we can also be on the same level, if not even better, than our counterparts in West Malaysia. In a world that is constantly evolving, and a world that is constantly challenging, going to be challenging, especially for minority and indigenous communities, I urge everyone here to step up and be a change maker in society, especially in these trying times. For our more senior and our more mature members here, I hope that you can continue to give us your support and guidance to young people, similar as to what KLF has done for KOMULAKAN so far. On a final note, I'd like to share an inspiring quote by YB Shed Sadiq, our former youth minister. Young people should not just be the leaders of tomorrow, but also be the leaders of today. Congratulations once again to all the participants, and I hope you all continue to write in your native languages on a regular basis. Thank you very much, and